Hey everyone, I'm Sarah Grace, and you have just tuned into Grace for Today, where we are teaching you how to apply God's grace to your everyday life. Tonight, I have my friend and sister in ministry and media, Shenee Woodson, all the way from the DMV area up north. So I'm excited to be touching base with her. So I've known her for many years. We have been connected through media efforts, through conferences, and the list goes on. So we're doing a check-in tonight to see how she's doing and to see what God is speaking to her and through her in this hour. So please do welcome Shenee with me tonight. Make sure if you're on social media, you drop a message in the comments and let us know that you're watching. Like, share, tag, invite, text somebody, but make sure that they get encouraged tonight by watching Grace for Today. So Shenee, what's up?
Sarah,
my friend. So it's good to have you on. I know we have not been like live and in person in what 19, 20, 20. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Has it been 4 or 5 years? No.
Actually, I think it had almost.
No.
Yeah, it's been a minute. A few minutes. It's been a few minutes.
A few minutes. I think I was up there, Columbia, for your conference, your ministry kind of debut for a certain thing you were doing at that time, 2019. And that was a blessing. It allowed me to connect with some new people I'm still connected to today. So I'm excited. So how are you? What is going on in Shenee Woodson's life? And what is God speaking to you about these days?
I am good. I can't complain, even if those days I want to, but I can't complain. However, just doing some things different. I just recently relaunched Shenee Shares, which is going to be my speaking platform / and also turned it into a YouTube live where I interview individuals who are doing extraordinary things. However, they're also sharing their testimony of resilience. And also giving them that platform to encourage other people to stay the course, no matter what it is, no matter what it looks like. So that's what I'm focused on now. I'm still working for the government, the Maryland state government, the Maryland Department of Human Services, and as a professional development trainer. However, I'm realizing that's really what I want to do. It's like at 43, I got it. I want to talk all day long. So that's what I'm focusing on now. Just avenues that have helped me really push myself as a public speaker and also as, doing workshops, etc., like I do at my job. So, and still being a mommy to now a 13-year-old helped me. I know you got the experience. Yeah, I know you have the experience, but I got one, and she's just I love her. But yeah, she's stretching me. With all the growing pains dealing with her, and just finding that balance of doing focusing on my goals and helping her achieve hers as well. So that's really what I've been up to lately. Just dealing with myself and again this 13-year-old that I have, she takes a lot of my attention now too.
Right. To all the parents of teenagers, we just want to let you know you're in our thoughts and prayers.
Yes.
We are with you. We are unified. We are solid. Yes. I have, let me see. I have 1, 2, 3, maybe myself. I think I have 3 in their 20s now. And I have, is that 4? Yeah. 4 teenagers and 3 in their 20s. I had to think about it. And I tell you what, there's another level of grace necessary for the teens and the 20s. But God's grace is sufficient, y'all. So we're praying for you, but we will definitely keep that in our prayers. So what else has been going on? I know some years back, I remember getting some inboxes and you were going through some challenges with your health. And you have now become an advocate and a spokesperson in ways for some of these conditions. Do you want to share with us a little bit about that journey for you with your health?
Well, the first one that really shocked me is being found out that I had a brain disorder. It's called idiopathic intracranial hypertension. I still try to say that fast, but I got to take my time. The acronym for it is IIH. It's basically my body thinks I have a brain tumor and I don't. So I have all the symptoms of someone who actually does have a brain tumor. And because of that, I literally can go blind if I don't take care of it. So glasses are my best friend now. That's why I try to, be a little stylish with my glasses now. As far as that's concerned, the dizziness, the migraines are just to a whole nother level. It's really bad. Also on top of that, go to the doctors right after that, find out, hey, you also have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is, sitting on your ovaries. I'm like, what is going on here? It's something else I'm dealing with. So, those two things back to back, it just takes a toll on my body at times. Sometimes I really feel like they're fighting, like who's going to take charge today? And, the medications and stuff. I actually stopped taking the medications at one time because I didn't like how it made me feel. Then I realized I needed the medications because it made me feel, otherwise. So it's this up and down roller coaster. And then I recently revealed that I've been diagnosed as a manic depressant. I do not claim that. I don't claim none of them anyway. I know God's can heal me. But the diagnosis, me being put in a mental health hospital. A lot of people do not know that. But, I had to go a little, someone said to me, you went dark, Shenee. I really did. During that time, I was placed in this hospital and they diagnosed me as a manic depressant / bipolar. So, just dealing with all those things and then saying, hey, I want to continue, pursuing purpose, with all this going on. So it's definitely grace and all of that, just having to, like I told you earlier before we started, every day is different. Every day is different.
Wow.
I'm learning to have grace for even myself, to know that it's okay to not be okay today. God's you, he still have you, Shenee, but it's okay not to be ashamed of all this stuff. Because I when I first started talking, I was like, man, what are people going to think? Especially those who knew my past, all the things that I've done in the past, like, what? She's doing all this. She's going through all this. What happened? What happened along the way? Or I used to think, God, why is this happening to me? Did I do something wrong? Is this punishment? All those things was going through my mind. It was always this, why me? And, it made me think of one day, and I was talking to a friend and she also brought it up too and said, because we both have IH. And we were talking about how, in the Bible, how the blind man, when Jesus healed him, he literally said that he was born for such a time as this, to show God's glory. So I'm sitting here thinking like, God, even though I'm going through this thing, I know it's going to work out for my good. I know it's going to be for your glory. So when you heal me, they know it's you. So I have to look at it like that now, instead of just feeling sorry for myself and saying, I'm going to show people, I'm going to keep going. But when that time comes and you heal me from head to toe and all around, they're going to know it's you. They're going to know I will not be able to get the credit whatsoever.
Wow, that's powerful. And you know what? This topic, I think, is so important because sometimes we feel like, we being those that believe in God, those that are scripture quoting, and some of us Pentecostals, charismatics, tongue talking, that we will be exempt from these kinds of challenges. And though I don't share your same diagnosis, I have had some physical problems. I've had, some, I guess you could call mental or emotional challenges as well. I mean, of course, going through the various seasons of life can come with a lot, and there's temporal or temporary and situational depression, and there's chronic, and we're not going to get into necessarily trying to describe all those different things, but we, even as believers, we have these situations happen. So do you feel that there is, you kind of touched this very briefly, but like a stigma associated with these things that we as God's people, believers, really need to talk about and discuss, so that those that are dealing with these type of situations don't feel fearful or alienated in sharing what they are going through?
We definitely need to create more of a safe haven for especially those in ministry to talk about it, because especially when you're in ministry, you got to be mindful that you're pursuing purpose. You're also helping people. Ministry is serving. So sometimes in the middle of us serving, we're also taking on what other people are going through.
Right.
as well. And when we're doing that, we need an outlet also. So when you're not having that outlet and you're just taking in, helping people all the time, you don't have a moment to really, I mean, we sit and pray and, we talk to God, but we don't really take those moments to just, whoo. And then next thing you know, you're dealing with all these health issues because your body can only take so much. We have different parts to us. We have, the mind, body, and spirit. Okay, well, / soul. So when we're not taking care of all those things, if one of them are out of place, the other two are going to act out too. And that's something I had to learn, even in, growing up in a Christian home, but having to hide other stuff that was going on because I didn't want, to disgrace things going on in my home or reveal things that was happening, because we had to make sure that people didn't know, because we were ministering, things that were going in my personal life, keeping hush hush about that, because you had to keep, a certain, stature, because you're doing all these wonderful things. They can't know what's going on because that'll mess up the ministry, and I think we got to get to the point where we have to understand that we're still human. The ministry is still there, but the real ministry is come when you can sit there and be transparent and tell people, yes, I'm in ministry and I'm going through some of the things that you're going through. So when people fall, we're shocked.
Right.
When something happens, we're like, oh my goodness, but we don't know. They probably been going through stuff for years. But now that it's public or it's being revealed, and now, the church is all upset and in an uproar, and, and that person is so terrible. However, we have to, I just think right now is a perfect time where more people, because we're seeing more people stepping out. We're seeing more people revealing what's really going on in their lives. We're seeing more people being transparent. And I think that is what really needs to happen. Even when Jesus had a moment, he literally was on the cross crying out, I'm in a weak state right now. So if he can do that, why are we hiding? Why are we hiding those things that's going on when the person who is absolutely perfect is showing a moment of weakness in that hour, saying, yeah, I don't want to die. I don't want to take this cup pass from me. These goofballs out here spitting on me, doing all this stuff to me, and I gotta die for them. Is there any other way? Come on. Is there any other way that we can do this, God? He heard silence. You know how hurtful that could have been for him, to know that his father had to turn his face from him. And we as humans, how we feel when we love somebody and they, turn their face from us, or they don't answer us right away. I get upset if somebody don't answer my call right away. Okay, I'm like, what's going on? Did I do something wrong? So if he was the example of the transparency, why are we hiding? And I think that's the huge issue that's going on right now is, again, we're hiding. We're putting all these masks. We're saying that we have to be perfect. And then a lot of people, and I hear the cliche all the time, we're suffering in silence. Let's not suffer no more. Let's talk to each other. Let's have these open conversations. Let's have shows like Sarah Grace where we can sit there and say, I am okay with not being okay right now.
My God.
It's okay. Because I still know that, like you said, the grace it is sufficient. We have mercy. God gave us all these things for a reason. And I learned that the hard way, because again, Sarah, when you knew me, I had the magazine. I would be transparent about some things, but there's other things I hid. And those things that I hid was the ones that really had me one day in a room crying, screaming, and literally about to take my life. So the police came and said, hey, no, you need to go to this hospital over here and get yourself together. And then that's when I said, wow, all that stuff I was hiding, I was burying, I was sharing enough. I'm the transparency queen. I share, but there were some things I was not sharing at all. Okay. Mm-hmm. And those were the things I had to sit there and say, wow, I didn't really forgive. Oh, I'm still bitter about this.
Right.
Wow, I hid this for so long that I almost forgot about it.
Come on. Right.
Let's resurface. So again, I just think right now, as the church, as ministers, as believers, we have to share with each other and help each other. And like you said, you're not the only one going through something. I'm learning so much now that I'm speaking more. I've had people contact my inbox. Shenee, I was also almost in a mental hospital. Shenee, I've been in a matter of fact, I had somebody call a few months ago, and her friend was about to commit suicide. She said, oh, I know I'm going to call Shenee and see if she can talk to her. My mom, I ended up calling my mom. We prayed for her, and she was so thankful that she ended up volunteering to go to a mental facility. Wow. Minister of the church. And I said, hey, I know we're going to pray and fast, but I think you need some extra help too. It's okay. And I think, again, we yes, we know God can heal us. I know God gonna heal me, but in the meantime, what I'm gonna do in when that time comes, because everything isn't always a miracle. Maybe some things I need to take care of so God can say, okay, now I can heal you. Or, I need to show people who I am in your life. So I'm delaying this for a little while. And it's more of an acceptance and still walking in that transparency and knowing that it's gonna be okay.
Wow. Shenee, you are dropping some gems tonight. Okay?
I'm speaking from my heart. I really am. Like Sarah, I have learned so much in the last 3 months, even about myself. And even now, like I revealed to you earlier, just Saturday, I had a moment. Like I honestly almost took myself into somebody else's life just because of anger. Still had some anger build up. And it just took me to a whole nother. I said, man, I'm still dealing with this. What is going on? Something said, wait a minute, that grace, it's okay. It didn't happen. You're still here. So share that. Share, just because I'm saying I'm healed and you're declaring that, you're still going through the process.
Whew, you are preaching good tonight. And I'm so thankful for your transparency, because we need to talk about these things. And just your willingness to share your journey, because I know even more recently, more than ever, from experience and even other great anointed, powerful leaders that are going through what we would call mental health struggles, mental health crisis. And, if a preacher got sick with a cold, or nowadays we've got COVID, unfortunately, circulating, wouldn't we say, baby, call the doctor, go to the hospital, get your medicine? But if someone says, I'm going through depression, I'm going through some type of mental issue and I can't put my finger on it, why do we stigmatize mental health? Health is health. And so whether it's mental or physical, and really the two are so connected. I've even thought about going back to school to be a nutritionist next, because I'm like, once I get finished with the psychology and I've got the theology part, nutrition is even connected to that, because sometimes we don't even realize our diet can be contributing to how we feel.
Definitely.
But overall, you're bringing awareness tonight to someone that is watching that felt like, well, could I really be even a prophet and still struggle with depression, or a pastor? And we know that there are pastors that have taken their lives, that have completed suicide. And if they would have felt comfortable reaching out and being able to share their struggle without fully being rejected from their calling, they might have asked for help. But I think that the stigma that we've seen perpetuated, it would make a lot of people in leadership feel like, well, if I share that I'm going through any of the things you talked about, maybe I'll be fired or sat down. So, Shenee and I both want you guys to know tonight that God is with you, whether you're a leader, you are what they call a babe in Christ, or you're just someone seeking to know the truth. And even in the struggles in your mind, your mental health struggles, that He is not ashamed of you. You are not a failure. You are not insufficient or inadequate because your natural human experience is presenting some trouble, but there is natural and supernatural assistance available for you. So I would say to everyone watching, be prayerful about where you get assistance. Be prayerful about whether or not your assistance should be solely spiritual, emotional, if it should be medical. Seek God for the trajectory for your healing. But I had to, since we're testifying tonight, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and testify too. Okay. So I have been saved for almost 25 years. I gave my life to Christ when I was I was seeking God when I was pregnant with my first son, who'll be 25 this summer. And I surrendered fully to Christ when he was about 10 months old. And I had a lot of stuff that I suppressed for years and years and years and years and years. And I went through a battle not that long ago that brought me to the pinnacle of pain and emotional frustration, feelings of self-hatred, depression, that I had no choice but to seek out help if I was going to continue living, to be completely honest. And so I had to seek out a variety of methods of assistance. I had to really look at everything from my sleep patterns to how I was eating to seeking out a therapist. And at one point I had a therapist, a biblical pastoral counselor. I've got mentors. I've got an amazing spiritual father. I got a spiritual mom, a biological mom. I had to just pull a whole team in together and say, you know what, I need help, because and you mentioned this earlier, because not only am I carrying my own personal drama and traumas
Mm-hmm.
and unprocessed traumas, both old from years and years and years ago down to 6 years old to 30s and 40s. But I'm also trying to lead other people and
Exactly.
help other people. And I recognized I needed help. And for me, my personal journey was that I needed a team. And when I tell you, Shenee, my life forever changed because I opened up and said, you know what? I'm still processing trauma. And getting a therapist for me was huge because that therapist didn't know anything about Grace today. She didn't know anything about Sarah Grace. She knows me by probably a number and an email that is not associated with my personal brand. And I was able to spill, and now as I've gotten to know her, she knows about everything I do, but I was able to spill everything and begin to pick apart the things that had really undergirded bad patterns in my life, negative thoughts about myself. And even though my transformation journey was very authentic, there were parts of me that were not yet transformed. So I could genuinely, with my whole heart and full integrity, get up and preach. I mean, you've been there when I preach with my whole heart, everything I say, fully committed to embodying what I'm teaching, but still cry my eyes out at night because of feelings that I had not yet processed. And so I am an advocate for therapy in a way I've never been before. When it comes to medicine, I think it's a personal journey. You've got to seek God, just like if you have a physical ailment, like a pain in your body, each and every one of you seek God for what works for you. Because I think that the church, I should be really careful how I say that because there's so many different denominations and schools of thoughts. But sometimes religious communities discourage that. And like you said, in the meantime, I like how you said that. You're believing for your healing. But in the meantime, some people may really benefit from medical help. Some people may really just need to talk it out. None of us have the same exact journey. But what Shenee and I want you to know tonight is that you need to embrace that journey to healing and wholeness. And no matter how far along you are, I was in my 40s when I started really working on processing my traumas.
Same here, 43. 43 years old.
I feel mentally stronger. Not saying I'm perfect. Lord knows I'm still in process. I feel mentally stronger and more at peace than I ever have in my life. And when I have those days, because you mentioned those days still come where you might feel down or low, I know who to go to, what to focus on, who to ask for help. And I do that. So I think it's also important that we all have a I guess I would call it a support group, that we assemble our own support group. For some of us, that's a pastor. For some of you, you might go to a mega church and you can't touch your pastor, but maybe there's an elder, a minister, a friend. When I call my therapist, one of the first things they ask you is, well, how would you rate your support group? And we need that. Isolating yourself is one of the surest ways to move on. So I know we've got a little less than 10 minutes left, but you just introduced a really, really, really important thing. And that is, what you insinuated is that you were kind of at the end of yourself, and you called and you got help. What would you say to someone that is in that space that is like, why, whether they love God or know God or not, but they just don't know if they want to take one more breath? What would you say to that person to try to help direct them into a more positive space where they feel like there is hope for them?
One thing, and again, speaking from my own experience, is you have to know your purpose. If you don't, not saying, if you don't know your purpose, you might as well go ahead. No, you have to know your purpose and know your why. That's so important. And I think that's what helped me. And know that your gifts, your talents, anything that's about you is not even really for you all the time. Every gift that I have, every talent that I have is not for me. And I have to understand, and I really had to understand that if I leave, who is it going to also affect? If I was to, hey, I want to see my maker early, I don't want, that was my thought. I'm just going to help. I'm getting on everybody's nerves. Everybody got something to say about what I am, what I'm doing, and blah, blah, blah. So I'll just help everybody out and I'll just get out their lives. But you have to really think, is that really true? And if this was, you almost have to think past you doing it.
Come on.
And say to yourself, okay, so if I was to leave this earth, who will it affect? What that job I applied for that I didn't get, was there another one coming? Did I miss out on something else? That opportunity that was closed in my face, was it for a reason? But I won't know, because I won't be here to find that out. And we always talk about, the end of the road, or, getting to the finish line. I was right there, about to cross it, but I didn't. What would have happened if I did? First, you have to almost think past tense, so you can sit there and say, okay, I am worth it. My life is worth it. And do not be around people who make you feel. Sometimes a lot of people end up taking their lives or feel that way because they're around the people that's making them feel some type of way. There was moments where I literally had, how can I say this? Certain people who deemed me as psycho. Something's wrong with her. She's crazy. And I believe, you stop believing those things. You let those things go into your ear gate. So you literally have to sit and dismiss that and know that that is of the enemy. No, you're not crazy. There are people in the Bible who, if you really think about it, they had a mental illness.
Yeah.
And they were still used by God. First person I always think of is Peter. Peter had anger issues.
Cut an ear off.
Yes, and didn't think about it until later. Something had to overtake him. So he was not in his right mind. So when you're not in your right segment, you have to really almost think past tense. Like, I'm about to put this gun to my head, and I know this may be too graphic. I'm about to put this gun to my head. But if I do this, what's going to happen? What's the after? No one loves me. Is that something I'm thinking of myself? Is that something somebody projected to me? But I have to know that I know somebody out there loves me. Even if I don't, for those who do not even believe in God, you're here for something. You're here for a reason.
Yeah.
There's something that has to stop you. And that's what happened to me. I literally, matter of fact, the police said, your daughter is downstairs. When the police came and got me, and I said, oh, yeah, I am a mother. I can't have her here by herself. What's going to happen? That kind of shook me for a moment. Because it's like I said, at that moment when I wanted to do it, and it was, about to happen, nobody needs me. Why am I here? I done made so many mistakes. I've been divorced twice. Baby, my daughter is not even by either one of the husbands, all this stuff. I felt so ashamed. And I said, but yeah, soon as she said that, it made me come back. Woo, a light bulb hit, regardless of all that. And she said, and regardless of what you do, that little girl still loves you, regardless. And that kind of made, so again, I just want to share, anybody who's even thinking about it, or if you get to that point, you literally have to think past if you did it, and then come back to reality and say, oh, wow. It's almost like, when we see those movies where people get to come back and see, how everybody was, if they passed away, or, they come back as an invisible person, kind of like, what's that, Christmas Carol or something like that. You see those movies like that, where they can see what people are really thinking, their perspective. You almost have to think, so if I was supposed to step outside, what are people really saying about me? Again, but I truly urge anybody, get away from somebody who was putting some things in your head. I've heard so many people say, this person made me feel this way. And people say, I can't make you feel any kind of way. You kind of can. People's words hurt. And I hate remember how growing up, sticks and stones may break my bone. No, words hurt. They hurt just as bad as somebody punch you in the face. Sometimes I'd rather you punch me in my face than the stuff that's coming out of your mouth. Okay, so you really have to steer clear. And I love how you said, that support group. Who is actually in your support?
Right.
Are they really helping you? Or are they just enabling some things as well?
Right.
Are they really telling you what it is? My circle right now, it's so tight. Yes, I do share everything, but there's certain people I know, if I go left, then get your butt back over here. Get it together. Snap out of it, Shenee. Snap out of it. Okay?
Yeah.
You need that too in your life. So it's so many avenues again, and also about your own experience, your own background. We can get on here. Sarah can say things. I can say things that, 10 steps to this, 5 steps to that, but you have to find what is going to work for you so that you do not say, hey, that's it, I'm done.
My God, I'm so grateful for your transparency and sharing this. I know people are going to see this and be encouraged. And I don't know that I can add much more to it except to just say, Shenee, I'm so glad that you pushed through. I would have been terribly heartbroken if I would have gotten news concerning you. You matter. Your work matters. Your life matters. And I believe as long as you stay committed to this journey, God's going to do the unthinkable and the seemingly impossible with you. And I will definitely keep you in my prayers. And hey, y'all keep us both in your prayers as we continue to endeavor the call of God. And I wish we had more time, but I'm just going to drop this little nugget. Those of us that are on the front lines of ministry, whether you know it or not, we become subject to some of the worst demonic and personal attacks that you could ever imagine. You wouldn't believe the things that we've probably both encountered that we haven't talked about tonight. Even exterior forces and people and things that just want to try to come in and thwart the work of God in our lives. But by the grace of God, we've made it. And so faith does not always mean you will get out of everything, but faith will give you the grace to get through things. So no matter who you are, where you are, and what you're going through, put your faith in God and know that God is not mad at you if you need to seek medical, mental, church, family, help, empowerment, and we'd rather you stay here by any means necessary than leave out of here before your purpose is fulfilled. So we pray for those tonight that have struggled with suicidal ideation, depression, or even physical ailments that make you feel sometimes like it's not worth it. That you would continue to fight, that you would continue to make a decision to live, that you would speak over yourself, I shall live and not die, and declare the work of the Lord. And listen, this program might have got you to thinking, got you to considering your options. We want to encourage you, if you're fighting those things right now, as this program concludes, call someone.
Yes.
Do a search on the internet, begin to look for assistance, and seek the help you need to live. You don't have to do it alone. God's word even shows community and leadership as being a very integral part of our Christian journeys. So I wish we had more time, Shenee. How do people get into
everything is very simple. Shenee Shares, www.Shenee Shares. All of it is on there. From social media, I just made it so simple because I want to make sure I'm accessible. So I didn't do anything off the wall. Sorry. Everything that Shenee shares.
Like, I am Shenee, Godchild, God's daughter, the King of Kings at Instagram or whatever. So thank you for coming on, Shenee. I wish we had more time. This is such an amazing topic, but I believe tonight we've encouraged somebody to really reconsider giving up, and also those that maybe are dealing with friends and family, dealing with some of these things, that you would be a support and encouragement to them. So we will see you next time. You have been watching Grace for Today. I'm Sarah Grace. You can find out more about me at sarahgrace.tv. And we want to thank you for watching. Please be sure to share this program with someone that you know would be encouraged. And we will see you next time on Grace for Today.
So bad seeing her being put in isolation. I had my psychology degree. She just kept screaming. Life coach license. There's nothing I can do to train her, and I teach managing stress. But here it is. I end up in a place more intimate than I could ever imagine. I don't think I can't shake it. Just can't. There's no future. So that I don't want to. What is going on with me? I just cannot seem to live. That food used to make me hate as old that I'm insecure. Yeah. With a female like